St. Patrick's Day is quickly approaching, so to get into the Irish spirit, we're going to learn how to make a traditional Irish soda bread. I'm back in the kitchen with Betty Ann Donegan and Stephanie Dietz. So nice to have you guys here.
Thank you for
but I
having
got
us.
to see you earlier this week. I get to go to their cooking classes, which have just been incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. We're learning so much stuff.
Good.
A lot of help.
Good.
My husband is very appreciative also.
Oh, good.
But today you said we're making an easy bread. This isn't too complicated.
Very simple because there's no yeast.
Okay.
And it's made with baking soda and baking powder.
All right.
So this is a mixture of flour, a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of baking powder, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of salt.
Okay.
I'm going to cut in the butter. Now, Steph is going to show you talk about buttermilk when we're doing this.
Did you have the butter already kind of sliced up? Is
A
that
little
the
bit.
secret?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, you don't have to, but it's faster if I have it chopped up a little bit.
Okay, so this recipe uses buttermilk, and buttermilk is kind of like an overlooked ingredient that really has a lot of uses, and it's great. It used to be that it was the product that was left over from churning butter. It was the liquid that was left over, but now it's cultured. So it's almost, so they just take either fat-free milk or low-fat milk and introduce a good bacteria to it, almost like yogurt. So it's kind of like a yogurty kind of product.
It's thick, right?
It's thick, yeah.
Okay.
But one of the things people say all the time is, oh, I only use a half a cup, and then what do I do with the rest of it? And then it goes bad. But if you put it in a glass bottle, it will keep for weeks and weeks and weeks. And
Really?
and you never have to worry about it. And sometimes it will separate, and it'll look kind of funky, but if you just shake it back together, it's fine. And it's great for marinades. We use it to marinate like whole chickens. You throw it in a Ziploc bag with some salt and pepper and spices, and you could cook you can cook the chicken for 3 hours and it'll still be tender. It's amazing.
That's great. Oh, that's a really helpful tip.
All right, so you need this egg.
See,
and the buttermilk.
this recipe, this bread is made without a pan. It's not it's baked on a flat, so it has to be a stiff dough. So when you have a stiff dough, well, the buttermilk makes things tender.
Okay.
But the negative to the buttermilk is that it makes the dough very acidic, and acidic doughs don't brown. So what you do is you put a little baking soda in, that neutralizes it, and because the bread is made without a pan, it has to be stiff, so it means it's heavy, and the soda really helps to give it some rise.
Okay.
So it's a lot of chemistry going on.
I was going to say, well, that is your background, Betty Ann.
There's
You
a
know
lot
what you're doing.
Oh, these are caraway seeds. I'm going to put those in, and these are raisins. And you can use light raisins if you want, but it's always traditional to have the raisins and the caraway seeds. See, if I do this, and I dust the raisins with the flour, they'll incorporate better into the mix once I put the liquid in. So now, and the butter isn't really, really tiny. You don't have to chop it up to death. You can just, it can be in little chunks. So we'll put this in, and I'm just going to stir it together. Now I'm going to knead this on the cloth, and we don't want to knead it much, because if I knead it too long, it's just going to get tough. Even though the buttermilk is in there, it can still get tough. See, buttermilk is made by taking the like Steph was saying, taking the skim milk and putting bacteria in, and then when it reaches the pH that they want, they heat it and kill the bacteria.
Okay.
And what happens is the bacteria eat the sugar, and it gives off carbon dioxide, and that dissolves and makes an acid, and that's how buttermilk, the pH is so low.
It. I
yeah,
like
the
it.
science behind it. Yeah. So, and what happens is acid destroys living tissue. So if I'm forming gluten, the buttermilk will break that down. So this will be tender.
Did you know all that?
I did.
Yeah.
I hear her tell that all the time.
And that's how this keeps that's how it keeps the bread tender without a tremendous amount of fat. This is going to make 2 loaves.
All right.
I think
And for an Italian woman, you have this down pretty well, Betty Ann.
Well, you know, I never had this growing up. I mean, I was an Italian girl living in an Italian neighborhood, but you know, I've graduated, so. You see
Wow, look at those.
You see the color?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now I'm going to make those slashes in the top. I'm going to make 2 loaves, and I'm going to make a slash in the top. Steph, talk about the sill pan, honey.
Oh yeah, so see on these sheets here, we have, these are sill pan, which is a sill pat that's made specifically for bread. You can see this kind of perforated.
Oh, sure.
So the air will circulate underneath it, and it'll make a nice golden bottom.
Wow.
See that?
And it stays clean too, right?
Yeah, relatively.
most part?
Yeah, for the most part. Shake it out a little bit, and it's fine. But we love these. If you don't have this, you can grease and flour the pan, and that works too. But
Okay. And what do you have the oven on?
375. It cooks for about 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm doing? I'm just shaping this into a loaf. Then I'm going to put it on the tray. And then I'm going to make a gash. And this allows more rising, because once you start getting the puff, if the crust is formed, it prevents the thing from puffing
That
up a
makes
lot.
sense. Okay.
So the slashes are
So
important.
you didn't go all the way through, though.
I didn't go all the way
Right, so
through.
you can see.
I mean, people think
separates it.
people think it's a cross for St. Patrick's Day, but it's not really the reason that you do it. I mean, it's okay if you think that, but it's not really the reason. There is a chemical reason for doing it.
All right.
And so this is, again, just flatten it out a little bit. I'm going to be doing this at Van Wilgen's next week. If anybody wants to come and taste this, because I'm going to do a demonstration at 11 o'clock on Saturday, the 15th of March. So if anybody wants to take, because I know it looks so good and you can't taste it,
does.
so people can come and actually taste it.
I love it.
We
So we're
got some
gonna
nice
cut this.
fluffy butter there for you. And
Fluffy butter. That's fantastic.
Now, another little test, if you're not sure the bread is done, go ahead, honey, butter that. If you're not sure the bread is done, you can take a thermometer, this is an instant read, and just stick it into the side of the bread, like that.
Sure. What should it say?
It should say about 195.
And that's we know it's
And
done.
that's how you know it's
And that's
done.
good for all breads, not just this bread. So it's a good, because sometimes it's hard to tell if a bread is actually done. You can wrap it on the bottom, but it's nice to have the thermometer and know.
This is fantastic. This is so good. There's a little hint of sweet. The raisins add to it.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
And you can, if you like white raisins better, you could certainly use white raisins. You could mix them up if you want. It's whatever you like. Whatever
Do you like the caraway in it? Can you
I
taste?
love it.
Yeah.
You can taste it. It's easy to make. We just need the corned beef now, right?
Yeah.
We're all set. Ladies, thank you so much. We'll have the recipe over on WTNH.com. Just click on style.
Don't forget my commercial. Can I say my commercial?
Yeah, go ahead.
On May 15th, we're having a cupcake wars.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yep, and there's 6 bakeries that are going to participate in the greater New Haven area and the shoreline. Marjolaine, J Cakes, Take the Cake, Mariano's, Sugar, and Pastry Fusion, and I'm the judge.
Oh, and you're the judge. That's
And
fantastic.
Ken Avazian is going to help me. He's a friend of mine, and he's a pastry chef, and we're going to
What is the
judge
date
together.
on that again?
May 15th.
Very
It's a
good.
Thursday. It's going to be at Owenigo in Brantford.
All right, fantastic. Have fun with that. We're going to enjoy this bread. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here as well. And still to come, giving kids the tools to stay fit and achieve their athletic dreams. We'll fill you in when style returns.